What were your takeaways from Tuesday's game once you rewatched everything?
I thought going into the game, I was a little bit concerned on how tired we were going to be based on not having taken a day off before that. So I think that was our sixth straight day after a hard camp. I thought in the second and third period we were slow to pucks. And I would say we were slow to pucks probably two reasons. One, we were thinking a lot, so that makes you slow, and we were a little bit tired. So then the game kind of, starts to go away from you or get away from you a little bit. And I thought Sody was great. I thought in the first period when we had legs, we did some good stuff. It's a step, and it gave us an opportunity to watch some video on some areas and go out and practice it today, and we'll do the same thing tomorrow. That's what you want the exhibition games for. So I never probably put too much weight in, especially in the early ones. As you get closer to real hockey, they become more important.
Talk about the thinking part of it, and that's getting used to the new systems that you're implementing. In your past, what is the learning curve? Like, how long does that usually take where it's a little more reactionary and not thinking?
Yeah, and that's, it really depends probably. We're going to have to do a really good job in these practices to get them to a point where they can just go play and not think. How long, I can't say that for sure. Probably D-zone has some definite differences. Neutral zone forecheck is definitely different. We hadn't really worked on special teams much, so that's probably not, it's different, but it's not necessarily part of it. I think forecheck, O-zone, those aren't way different. In the end, I think we'll be able to one of the things we try to do in practice is do routing drills where guys get to, I think if you watched the beginning of practice today, the second thing we did was come in, stop, go in. It's just working on getting to the routes and being able to play as a five-man unit without having to think. So we're going to work hard towards getting there. What do we have, 2 weeks? So we're going to be ready in 2 weeks.
Spencer Knight, I know he's a young guy too, seems a little wise behind his years. It's just maybe the way he talks to us, but just how have you seen him progressing here through his first camp with the Blackhawks, and also how he's working with the defense?
Yeah.
With him so far.
Yeah, I've had some good conversations with Spencer. He's I agree with you. He's had he seems to be wise in the sense that he's had some experiences. Certainly with an organization that has had the most success over the last few years, and he's great to talk to because I think he has a good perspective on it. I think he saw things with a pretty clear head, so I think he can help bring some of that just to the table with our group. Spencer's a guy, I think I've told you guys this before, I got a chance to see him play a lot as he was kind of coming up, and I knew he was a real talented guy, but I really got to enjoy him as a person and that kind of perspective. I think, Spence with our D, I think again, it's just more time getting on the same page, in a lot of different areas. He handles the puck really well, so getting used to him handling the puck and getting the right spots and getting open for him, that's something we have not worked on yet that we're going to work on, but to me it's probably a secondary thing right now. Just learning the reads even systematically is something that he'll kind of get on the same page. But I've been a fan of his, and he does have a good perspective.
Back to the learning curve on the systems, does that change the way you're going to approach the preseason? Are you going to try to get the NHL club more games on the ice than maybe some of the guys are headed to Rockford?
Yeah, we'd like to, to a degree. The way the games are set up, you have 2 sets of back-to-back, and I'd like to avoid the back-to-backs for as many guys as I can. So we're kind of coming into this, depending on your age, you're playing somewhere between 4 and 3 exhibition games, so out of 6. So, which is a pretty good number. It gives them, if this was our 4th year together, Nick Foligno might only play 2, but he's probably going to play 3 because everything's new. Same with Connor Murphy, guys like that. So they're all probably playing one more than maybe in some cases we would, just to give them another game to kind of get to where we can hit the ground running against Florida.
With the penalty kill, you want to be pretty aggressive in the zone. It was described to me that if you're making the reads quick, it's effective. If you're a step late, then it can open up holes, and I think we saw that on their power play goal.
Yeah.
Tuesday. How do you feel like? How would you describe the mentality of that?
Yeah, well, I think anytime you pressure, if teams beat the pressure, you're going to be exposed. That's in hockey, in football, in a blitz, in any sport really. And so, We want to be able to, I'd like to use the term smart pressure. Pressure when we're in the opportunities to pressure, which means we've kind of dictated where the puck's going and we're not reacting, we're on our toes meeting pucks, not late to pucks. So if you see us chasing and the guy has 1,000, 2,000, we're probably late, and those are situations where we should just stop. We probably missed an assignment on that goal against. Certainly there was a couple times in the kill where we were exposed. I just think it's a matter of not, honestly, we had walked through it one time, so I think it's going to take a little bit to get used to. And I think, like anything else, when you haven't done it, it feels like all this stuff's going wrong, and then once you do it, you feel confident about it. So we just got to get to where guys feel confident.
With the forecheck and neutral zone, last year Anders kind of made it to a 2-1-2, sort of 1-1-3, sort of. It sounds like you haven't changed that much.
No, I'd say I think every forecheck in the league, honestly, looks something either. I mean, they all kind of look the same, to be dead honest with you. I don't think, not any teams anymore really are like a pure 1-2-2 where you don't really jump and meet plays, so everything kind of looks like a two-man at times, depending on the pressure. We'll be similar on that. Neutral zone will be similar to 1-1-3. It's a little, probably has moments of more aggressive than what they did at times last year with that, but it's something that we ran in Tampa that I was actually in charge of, and so that we're bringing here.
Do you have any updates on the injured guys, like Slager and Spelzy?
Spelzy should be in practice tomorrow, so that's a positive for him with the potential to play in the weekend. Slags, Sini, Savoy, I think those guys will all skate on their own tomorrow, will not play in the weekend. Joey Anderson has a he's going to undergo a procedure for a kind of a chronic issue that'll take him out of the preseason games.
Will he miss any regular season?
I can't answer. I don't know the timeline yet.
You mentioned that the team was slower to get to the puck in those other two periods. I guess how important is it for you and the team to kind of find that fine line between, because this is a system faster than some of these players are used to. So I guess how important to you is find that fine line between like playing consistently fast and having energy for the whole game.
I don't think we'll have a problem having energy, to be honest with you. I don't think it'll be an issue. You're not normally going to go 6 days of what we did and go play a hockey game. So I don't think that'll be an issue at all. I think there's times where, when you aren't connected, it feels like you're just kind of chasing the puck when you're not five guys connected, and that's what it felt like a lot. I thought the biggest issue was that we didn't break the puck out of our zone when we should have had the opportunities to break the puck out, and then in our D zone we had opportunities to we want to get kills in quadrants, and we let the puck out of that quadrant, so now you're into extended D zones. And anytime you get in extended D zones, I think it gets hard.
Seemed like the split in teams today, one was more heavy on NHL guys. Is there anything to take away from that? Like, do you feel like you kind of have a sense of who the group already is?
Yes and no. There was definitely, I made a decision. I didn't originally have this. I made a decision to try to ramp it up a little bit to get to a group of guys that are NHL, and more guys that are competing for NHL jobs, and not necessarily spread the two teams out. With the exception that, as I said earlier, we have probably more good players in spots. So there were some guys in that second group that are still going to be competing for NHL jobs, and they may in fact be moved into that first group tomorrow. I got to go through the groups right now. So I definitely want to kind of get it to a spot to where it's guys that are competing for those NHL spots, and we may flip some guys in and out.